All right, so I'm going to show you some examples that are happening right now in the world of the Black Death cult, a cult of people that's ruling the world. You think you're free, you think you're in a free country, you think you're doing whatever you want. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. You're being controlled every second of the day. The Black Death cult, their whole goal and purpose is to live off of you, to control you, to control your actions so that they can live off of you. They're living off of you and me. If you have a job, if you're a worker, they're living off of you. If you're a taxpayer, they're living off of you. If you are not the owner of the company, they're living off of you. If you're unemployed right now because you can't find a job, they're living off of you. They can't wait to get you to do something. The Black Death cult, because they live off of you. I'm going to show you an example here. A postal worker gets shot dead by a guy, just a normal guy. Now, the guy who shot her dead is not a Black Death cult member. One of the things with the Black Death cult is that we do imitate them because that's what we see as power. So when we say, like, king, a king is a Black Death cult member. So when we say, like, I'm a king, I want to be a king, you're imitating the Black Death cult member. You can never be the king. King is 100% Black Death cult, 100%. Okay? He controls everything around him. A king's forest, let's say. You can't go into a king's forest and kill an animal because he says he owns it. He controls it. Now think about a game warden. A game warden controls you killing an animal. A permit controls how many animals you can kill, what time of the year you can kill them, how big they are when you take them. And who does that? Fish and Game. Black Death cult members. They're part of a government. A government is a Black Death cult organization. See, the government is not just something you talk about. Oh, it's the government did it. No, it's people who call themselves the government did it. Government can't do anything. The United States government can't do anything. It doesn't exist. People exist calling themselves members or officials in the United States government. That's how it works. But Black Death cult loves to confuse you, by the way. They love to put up, oh, here's my corporation. That's not me. No, that's not me. Oh, here's the United States government. That's not me. That's not me. Oh, here's the Chinese government. That's not me. When it's them. 100% it's them. How would a corporation exist without the people running it? It couldn't. How could the government exist without people being the government? It couldn't. But yet they're saying, oh, there's nothing I can do about it. It's the United States government. No, no. Oh, that law? Nothing I can do about it. It's the law. Well, who made the law? They did. The Black Death cult made the law. They can change it anytime they want to. They're just not going to. The Black Death cult is not going to change the law for you. They'll change it for themselves. They won't change it for you. So in this particular case, a postal worker, now, she's not Black Death cult. She's just delivering mail. But she's part of the Black Death cult organization called the federal government. Now, if you look at this, according to the federal law, killing an on-duty federal employee can be punishable by death or a life sentence. Just immediately. Immediately. If they're a federal employee, which means they could work for the post office, just doing supposed innocuous things, just delivering mail, you can get a death sentence. Now, if this guy met this woman on his porch and she was trespassing and she kicked his dog and he shot her, he wouldn't get life. He wouldn't get a death sentence. But because she's a federal employee, he could. get a death sentence. I'm using this to show you how the Black Death cult sticks together. They are a cult. That's why I call them a cult, because they take an oath. This woman took an oath. Federal employees take an oath. Think about a Supreme Court judge taking an oath. Think about the president taking an oath. Now, when you got a job, did you take an oath? Any job you've ever had, did you take an oath? You don't take an oath. You don't take an oath because the oath is an old cult ritual. It's a cult ritual where you hold up your hand and you promise to protect your brothers. You promise to protect the ideals of the cult at any cost. So then, guess what? All your brothers are protecting you. So all of the Black Death cult members are protecting her. So if he kills her in the line of duty, he can be punished by death. Now, just recently, this guy, Ahmaud Arbery, got shot, killed, murdered, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. The Georgia prosecutor told cops the killing was justifiable homicide and sent a 5-point letter outlining why the guys who killed him shouldn't be charged. Now, why is he doing it? Who's he protecting it? Let me tell you. The guy who says, oh no, they shouldn't be charged, his son is a prosecutor in the Brunswick District Attorney's Office where Gregory Michael, a former cop, worked as an investigator. So the guy who killed this guy is one of the district attorney's boys. That's when he took an oath with him. They took an oath. Hey, we're gonna stick together. We're taking an oath to quote unquote protect and serve, to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the United States and laws of this, and they will kill you to do it. This guy got killed. He protects his buddy. He protects his buddy who killed him. See, this guy's not in the Black Death cult. He's not in, but all cops are in the Black Death cult, and all prosecutors are in the Black Death cult. Okay? So they're protecting each other, and they're taking an oath to do it, just like they're taking an oath to protect her. So it's a gigantic, huge, unbelievably huge network, which also includes Navy SEALs, Marines, Army guys, Air Force guys, any military guy. So think about it. You have a massive number of people in this cult working towards controlling you. This guy even says it. He's a former Navy SEAL. He says, what you're trying to do is get control. What you're trying to do is get control.
That's what you're trying to do. You don't know what's happening. When you walk into a room, you don't know what's happening.
You walk into, you don't know what's happening in the world. Anything could happen. People could do anything. Free people can do anything. So what do? You control them.
So what you're trying to do when you get into a room, you're trying to get control of the room.
Now just think about the room being the United States of America. So now instead of this guy controlling 5 people in a room, this guy is controlling 330 million people in a border. It's that simple. You're being controlled within a border. You have a line drawn around you, and you're inside of it, and you're the resource that they're controlling. And if they don't control you, they're not going to be able to live off of you. They're not going to be able to take your money. They're not going to be able to sustain themselves off of you. They're going to have to do it themselves, and they don't want to do that. They haven't been doing it. This has been going on, okay, for 30,000 years. It started 30,000 years ago that we can trace. We can trace it because they wrote on cave walls. They wrote all their little death symbols on cave walls, all of them. Now, 10,000 years ago, they started writing them in Babylon, started writing them in the Middle East, started writing them in the cradle of civilization. And guess what? In Babylon, guess what? There were kings, there were strong men, there were rulers, and who else was there? Citizens, peasants, farmers, just like right now. What's changed? See, historians and people who are teaching history like to say, oh, well, that was a totally different culture and they did everything different. And, there's a timeline and it's a different, and this fell and then this rose up and then this fell. And then, no. It's the same cult that's been working throughout history to be here right now. There is no difference. Think about it. The Hippodrome was a gigantic stadium where they raced chariots. Could hold 90,000 people. Gigantic stadium racing chariots thousands of years ago. What do they do now? They have a gigantic stadium where they race cars and 200,000 people are there. What's the difference? What's the difference? They had teams of chariots, red, white, blue, green. And people cheered for their red team, their white team, their green team. What's the difference now? You cheer for the Chicago White Sox. You cheer for the Chicago Cubs. One of them's black, one of them's blue. What's the difference? There is no difference. In Babylon, there's a king that rules over people, tells them what to do, takes all their money, and lives opulently while peasants struggle. Right now, the elite of the world live opulently with a whole bunch of money, getting every resource, and you live like a peasant. What's the difference? The Senate of Rome was just rich people. Just a meeting of rich people telling everybody what to do. Dictating their life, taking all their money while they live as peasants and quote-unquote citizens. You right now have what? A whole bunch of elitists, a whole bunch of people who are elite, running the world through corporations, making all the money and making you work. What's the difference? You even have a body of people governing over you called the quote-unquote Senate in America. They're called the Senate. There was a Senate in Rome 4,000 years ago. What's the difference? None. There's no difference. The Black Death cult is still, it's Black Death cult all the way through history, just running everything. They do it. This is the key. They do it through the threat of violence into violence. Look at this guy right here. He's got a gun. He's threatening you with violence. This guy right here. Threatening you with violence to get control. And if you don't listen to him, he will violence you. 100%. This guy will violence you. And then the second method is the threat of death into death. So if he violences you, hits you with the gun, ties you up, beats you, and you don't listen, he'll put the gun to your head and tell you you're going to die. And then he'll shoot you. That's Black Death cult. That is how they operate. They're here. They've been here for 30,000 years. Okay? You can trace them back 30,000 years minimum. Now, they might go back 200,000, 300. I don't know. I can only trace them back 30,000 years, about 38,000 years. Okay? But they've been here doing this same routine, this same act for 38,000 years minimum. Now, here's state police blocking off citizens. Here you have a whole bunch of citizens, some of them armed, by the way, some of them with the same means of control that the Black Death cult has. Okay? But how can these cops right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cops hold back all these people? How can they do it? Because they're Black Death cult. They are certified killers. They can kill you. If this guy right here rushed onto this guy, now what's the difference between this guy and this guy? What's the difference between this guy and this guy? None. As a human being, none. They're the same human being. They breathe the same air. They eat the same food. They, quote unquote, put their pants on one leg at a time. Okay? Now the difference is this guy is sanctioned and has taken an oath to the Black Death cult to, quote unquote, protect and serve. And he is protecting and serving, not you, because he'll kill you. So how is he protecting and serving you if he'll kill you? See, it should be obvious. But you've been conditioned, you've been, quote unquote, educated with their material. So this guy here's the reality. This guy will kill you. with impunity. See, that's another difference. You could kill him. These guys could literally rise up and kill all these guys. But guess what? There'd be charges against these guys. They would go out and get more of these guys right here, more of these cops, and find you and put you in jail, threaten you with death and kill you, threaten you with violence and violence you. Come with me, sir. Why? We have a film of you killing a cop. Come with me, sir. I don't want to. They'll violence you. I'm going to violence you, sir. I'm going to arrest you. You resist arrest, they'll beat you. You resist arrest hard enough, they'll kill you. Now think about it. What if these guys actually got into the legislature? They're in the Capitol building, and the legislature's back here. So if they storm past these guys, they would actually get into the legislature where people make laws. What would these people be able to do there? Nothing. Zero. They couldn't make a law. They can't write down law because they're not in the Black Death cult. The quote-unquote lawmakers in your capital have taken an oath, and they can write laws because they've taken those oaths, and they've fulfilled the Black Death cult's requirement to be there, and then they work for the Black Death cult, writing little words down, little symbols down, what I call voiju, down on paper to control you. And then they control you with the violence. If you don't follow what they wrote down on paper, their voiju is any line, thought, or color made by man. So when they're writing their little lines on paper, it's voiju. And if you don't listen to what they wrote down on paper with the lines, they'll violence you. So if they wrote down on paper, you can't come into the state capitol with a gun, and you come in there with a gun, guess what they're going to do? They're going to violence you. The Black Death cult is going to violence you. So if the Black Death cult writes anything down that they want to write down, and you don't listen to it, you don't adhere to it, you don't heed it, you will be violenced. 100%. That's how they act. That's their means of control. That's their mechanism of control. Violence and death. That's why I call them the Black Death cult. Now, this guy right here has got a gun. Why is he not shooting this guy? Why is he not shooting him and moving him out of the way? Because he could be a good person. He could say, well, this guy might have a family. This guy might have a family. You know what? I know this guy. I went to high school with him. This guy could actually have a heart. In the Black Death cult, you have no heart. Your heart is irrelevant. When this guy approaches this cop will kill you. This cop will kill him. This cop will kill anybody in this room. This cop right here will kill anybody in this room that he wants to. With impunity, with no recourse, with no consequences. None. Zero. There might be a trial and there might be a little charade, but there'll be no consequences. Just like, because they're in the Black Death cult, just like when they killed this guy and they were just scot-free. And they still might get acquitted. They got arrested. People are really happy right now because they got arrested, but let me tell you something. They might get acquitted. They might go through a trial and they might go free. So this case ain't over yet. So when I talk about the Black Death cult, it's not just the cops, the media, the people who are running the media, the people who are telling you information. That's why I said you've been educated by them. You've been educated by these guys to tell you what's right or wrong. You've been educated by the Black Death cult to tell you what's right or wrong. And remember when I said there's an upper echelon, a hierarchy where there's rich people and poor people, and the rich people are running everything and making all the money, and the poor people are getting lived off of? Facebook is the perfect example of that. Facebook is the perfect example of that because Facebook is a blank platform. They have no content. You're creating it for them. You're making Mark Zuckerberg all of his money. All his money. You're making the social media networks all their money because they're blank platforms. There's nothing on there. There's nothing on Instagram. It's just a place where you can post pictures and videos. And if you don't do it, guess what? There's nothing there. Facebook is literally a blank platform. There's a platform, blank, nothing there. You're making Mark and his board all their money. And guess what they're doing? They're controlling you. They're controlling what you put on their platform. You don't have free speech on any social media network. You don't have free speech. You can't put what you want on there. Look, scramble to remove viral pandemic conspiracy video, meaning people want to watch it. It's viral. Just like these people want to know an answer. They want to know, they want change. They want something to be different, but it ain't going to happen. You want people to find out about your pandemic conspiracy video, but no. You can't have that because you're being controlled. You are being controlled. You're trying to get control of the room. You're getting control of the room called Facebook. Getting control of Facebook. Getting control of these people. Getting control of the state. Getting control of the room. Getting control of the country. That's Black Death Cult. That's Black Death Cult. So, when you think you're living in a free country and you can do whatever you want and you're just going to work and earning your money for your family and you're just doing the right thing and you're being a good citizen, understand there's a deeper level to your life. That you are a pawn in a game. And that game is control. And you are being controlled every second of every day. Every action that you make is controlled. It's contrived, it's already preconceived, it's already laid out for you to make, and it's controlled when you make it. And the reason why is because there's a cult of people on this planet, a small group, a very small group of people that run you, run your life, run your actions, take your money, live off of you. And they do it using the threat of violence into violence, the threat of death into death. And this whole time they're disguising themselves. Oh no, we're that's the government. Oh no, that's the county board. Oh no, the county board decided that, not me. Oh no, the government decided that, not me. I'm just here to kill you. I didn't decide to kill you. The United States government decided to kill you. Even though that defense, well, Hitler told me to do it, so I did it. Well, guess who told him to do it? Exactly. Just a different Hitler. And the United States government is not the United States government. It's people calling themselves the United States government that are a cult. Just like the people who call themselves the county board. The county board doesn't exist. People exist that call themselves the county board. Your city council doesn't exist. The city council didn't make a decision. People calling themselves the city council made the decision. And all these people are in the Black Death Cult. And they are here to control you.